What was best about it is that my mom wouldn't want to try to leave him because in Russia it's better to have him in your life than, it's better to be married to an alcoholic than to be single. She would try to kind of get him out, but then every time he would come back and ask for forgiveness, she would keep him back. So since I was a child, I was struggling with anxiety and depression because even when my dad wasn't Christian, I didn't know what would happen to me whether he would start drinking as a mom, and he was verbally abusive. He never tried to my mom, so he never beat me up. My mom was trying to beat him up. She's a Russian woman, strong and everything, but anyway, he was so abusive, and the things he was saying, definitely affected me, and I was always thinking that I was, ugly and stupid, and I would never have hope, because those were the things that he was telling me. And my mom tried to commit suicide a couple of times, and Dad kind of saved her. She took too much pills, one day. So living with that, I obviously didn't have any hope, and I was dealing with so much stress, I guess, and depression, like I said. And there were times when I guess I wanted to kill myself, but then I felt so bad for my mom. I was like, I don't know. I know that she was trying as much as she could to be the best mom that she could to me. So with all that said, when I was 15, I went to a sports camp that was organized by American missionaries. And I was doing everything. I was growing up during communism. And so during communism, the good thing, you could do anything for free. You could take dancing lessons and singing lessons and do sports. So I did gymnastics and I did track and field, even went to USSR track and field competitions, because I was trying to stay away from home as much as I could, because I didn't want to see my father who was drinking. So when I went to a sports camp, I heard about Christ, and again, it was kind of so shocking because I obviously, when you're growing up during communism, you have no faith in God. So, and here you hear things about Christ, and it's just, I was like, these people, they seem normal. Because, you would think that Christians can't be normal. I thought Christianity is about monks and nuns, and so how can all this, Americans who are having fun and teaching us to play baseball and football, how can they tell us about Jesus? So I had so many stereotypes that had to be kind of broken, before I was able to follow Christ. Once I found Christ, though, it was a process, and I was studying the book that was written by Josh McDowell, More Than a Carpenter. And if you know Josh McDowell, you know that when he was writing his book, he was actually not a Christian, and he was trying to prove in his book that Christianity, that Bible is just a bunch of stories and it's not true. But then when he started studying the Bible, he started studying history, he became a Christian. So he ended up writing a book where he is proving that Christianity is the truth and that, Christ is real and he is the Son of God. So it helped me to accept Christ. And when I started following God, it was just so encouraging for me to have wonderful Christians in my life who had even more faith in me than I ever had in myself. That's why Great Recovery is one of my favorite places. I've spoken at a few places in Canada and the U.S. Because it's so important to have one another. I doubt myself up to this day, and I got to travel and I get to sing and speak at churches and help orphans, and yet I often feel, I was sharing the other day, when I was talking to Deborah, that I feel so unworthy, like even standing here, being able to do something. Up to this day, I remember, not that I remember things that my dad said, but I see that they affected me so much that I feel like I'm not worthy, to be used by God. I'm not worthy to do everything that's happening. I pretty much can't believe that I'm good enough to sing or do anything. So it's so important to have people who see things in me and they say, Irina, you're amazing, you can do it. And I can tell the things that I achieved in my life, they happened because of all the wonderful Christians who were there for me. So I just want to encourage you guys to be there for one another like you are. And obviously, having God as my Heavenly Father, it just kind of opened another door for me. Although I don't, like I said, my dad, actually before he died, he became a Christian. And for the first time, he told me that he loved me when I was 21. And it was such a great miracle. I was like, if God could do that, there is nothing that he can't do. So obviously, you know, I know that God is great. So I know God is number one, like a person that we should go to. But we need one another, obviously, and we need to support one another. So when I was going through the hardest times of my life, I guess, I was writing my songs, and I want to sing this one song for you, because talking about worshiping God, it's so important to replace all the lies. That's something that I've realized. It's so important to replace all the lies that I have, you know, kind of in my brain, running around with the truth that God has. And so my songs, they help me to remember who I am and run to God. So I'm going to sing for you. I know usually people don't sing when they share their testimonies.